Hello and welcome to the Organized by Melissa blog. Today I want to talk with you a little bit about why it's so important to organize spaces where we do our favorite hobbies. For example, your craft room is a space that should support you and the hobby that you love to do. And a lot of times what I hear from my clients is that it's the exact opposite. Those spaces are spaces that they avoid, that causes them stress, that at one time they thought was going to be a space they would spend a lot of time in, but that they never actually go into their craft room and instead pull supplies out and go someplace else to work. This is not what we want for a space that is supposed to help us have fun during our free time, to do something that we love. And I want to encourage you to really take the time to dig in, whether that's with me or on your own, and organize this space very soon so that you can enjoy it in your downtime. I'm going to share some tips for how to organize your space in today's blog post. And the first is that what I want for you to do is really get honest about the time that you have to spend on this hobby. And if you don't have a lot of time to spend on this hobby, then you're going to want to pare down quite a bit with what you're storing to do that. The second tip is that when you're actually setting up the space, you want to think about the projects that are the most meaningful to you and that you're going to want to start first. The supplies for those projects are the ones that should be at your fingertips and easiest to access. So based on frequency of use, you'll want to set up the space for that. Projects that are less important to you or supplies that you're only going to use once in a while, that can actually go into the area where it's a little harder to get to. You want to make sure that everything is set up like with like, and that it's really easy to grab when you're ready to do these projects. For example, if you're someone that likes to scrapbook, then you're going to want to gather all of your photos throughout your whole house into one area so that when you actually have time to do the scrapbooking, it's really easy to grab those photos. Another tip that I often do for the clients of mine that love to craft, or for example, even sewing rooms or quilting rooms, is that when you have a project going on and you can't finish it in one sitting, because who can really, right? You need a space for those projects to go to until your next session. And so what I often do is I'll create little containers, or sometimes big containers, that are often the canvas cubbies that fit into cubby storage units, or even the smaller plastic totes. And there's one set up for each individual project. And so it might say apron for grandma on the label, or it might say scrapbook for Tom. And then that way they're all divided by project. And when you're done working for the day, you can actually put those items for that project into the container so that it's neatly stored between sessions. And that way when you walk by your craft room, or if it's a shared space, meaning a multi-purpose space where you do more than just crafting in there, the craft or the project is not exploding all over the space and taking it over for the entire family. And it also makes it so that you could do multiple projects at one time. So today you might work on this project. When you're done with that session, you put that away. And then tomorrow you might be in the mood to do something different. So you'll grab out that project box and get that going, and then you can put it away when you're done. So the tips for today are to make sure that you are honest about the time you have, and you're only keeping the supplies for the projects that you can really get to and that you want to do. The second is to set up the space based on frequency of use. And the third is to make sure that you give yourself some containers to put projects that aren't finished in between sessions. Thanks so much for joining the Organized by Melissa blog, and I hope you enjoy your hobby. Have a great day.